Hello, my little blueberries. Welcome back to Transformation Realness, the only show all about people who are doing their best to make the world of work less shitty and have the guts to share their story. The good, the bad, and most of all, the real. This podcast is produced in partnership with RepCap and hosted by yours truly, the ever-inquisitive, delightfully direct Kyle Lagunas, head of strategy and principal analyst at Aptitude Research, the leading boutique research firm covering HR tech and transformation. Get into it. Now hold on to your headphones, people, because this isn't just any season of Transformation Realness. Oh no, my friends, this is something extra special. I am thrilled to kick off a brand new mini-series built on Workday, the birth of a new HR tech ecosystem. All right, here's the deal. For years, Workday has been known for its tightly controlled, unified platform. But the winds of change are a-blowing, and Workday is leaning all the way into collaboration, opening up their ecosystem, and inviting innovation to the party. And trust me, the HR tech world is abuzz. The idea for this series has been brewing for a while, and I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I've been nudging Workday to embrace this kind of ecosystem strategy since way back in 2016, and receipts are available upon request, honey. So when they rolled out the red carpet for partners like Paradox, Lightcast, Goodtime, and HiredScore, and doubled down on platforms like Extend to empower their customers with innovation, I knew it was time to dig in. And the best part? All of this was recorded live from the back of Workday's Forever Forward bus, fully equipped for audio and video podcasting. That's right, people. You'll be able to catch all of these incredible conversations in their full glory on the Transformation Realness YouTube page. So go ahead and like and subscribe if you haven't already, because this is the one series you don't want to miss. Whether you're an HR leader, a tech enthusiast, or just here for the tea, this series will give you an insider's look at how Workday is changing the rules and why this matters for you. Expect bold insights, practical takeaways, and a whole lot of sass. Because, well, this is still Transformation Realness after all. So buckle up, grab your favorite beverage, and get ready for some real talk about HR transformation. It's Workday like you've never heard it before. Let's get into it. For our first episode, we're exploring what happens when one of the most exciting AI talent orchestration platforms joins the Workday family. That's right, HiredScore is now officially a part of Workday, and their combined vision for smarter, more agile talent management is nothing short of transformative. I'm sitting down with two brilliant minds from HiredScore, Jason Schechner, Senior Director of Business Strategy, and Ernest Ang, Senior Principal and Product Strategist, to talk about what happens when AI talent orchestration becomes more than just a buzzword. We're digging into how HiredScore is helping organizations go beyond matching and scoring candidates to deliver iconic outcomes. Think recruiter efficiency, workforce agility, and yes, total talent orchestration. And with Workday's platform and ecosystem in the mix, the potential to transform how work gets done has never been bigger or more exciting. Grab your headphones or play this loudly on public transportation. I don't care. Let's dive into a conversation that's as inspiring as it is game-changing. Hello, besties. Welcome back to an extremely special episode of Transformation Realness, live coming to you from this sick bus. Like, it's actually a bus. We're sitting in the back of it podcasting thanks to our friends at Workday. They have a full-ass studio set up for us, and it is like, it's kind of surreal. I'm sitting down with two of my absolute besties, my friends coming from HiredScore, a Workday company now. Jason, Ernest, welcome onto the show. You guys want to say hi?
Yeah, it's great to be here. So excited to be with you always in Las Vegas, but especially here in the Workday bus and spending some time talking about what we're up to.
Yeah. Hi, Ernest.
Hi.
Who the hell are you?
I'm just grateful to be here and grateful to always have a conversation with you as well. So
yeah.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, I love it too. Well, look, we've been working in this space for a long time, right? We know that a lot of these major HCM players, they are a bit of a walled garden. It's really tough as best in breed providers to bring as much impact to your customers as you'd like without partnership. I thought it was really, really cool that Workday, which is has also followed that historical same pattern of like, you know, we're going to be really slow and really intentional with like who we do let in. I wanted to talk for this like kind of mini series about like this major push into partnership. Yeah. I just think it's a different kind of market leadership.
And I know that customers are really excited about it. We saw it rising last week, just how many people were spending time in the partner booths. And then, of course, HiredScore is a shining example of that partnership because now you are not just partners, you are workmates. You're part of the team.
Yeah.
How's that been going?
It's amazing. I mean, even if I just go back to, when we looked at this and we said, how do these companies come together? I mean, first of all, nearly 60% of our customers were already using Workday.
Yeah.
We'd been through that partnership process over several years. We had gone through certification. And I think that felt good because, again, to your point, Workday felt like they were taking that next step to allow key partners in that were impacting their customers. We felt like we were doing that. And I think what's been exciting, probably maybe unexpected, is now on the inside, the unexpected integration, like wows, the value alignment, for instance, the leadership, the people, the direction of the company. I think those are the things, obviously being acquired is exciting, but when you get on the other side and you're actually going through it and you're saying, actually, this is a really good home for us. And really exciting opportunity to continue our vision that we were building on for the last 11, 12 years.
Yeah, I mean, I see it. I know you all really well, and I know the Workday team really well. And I do feel like there is like really good cultural alignment. There really is just like a strong entrepreneurial spirit here. A lot of like really intelligent, very passionate collaborators. But you guys are having a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think one of the things that I think we all share, Workday and HiredScore, is really the focus on the customer.
Yeah.
Bringing great value to the customer, and I think that's something that we're seeing, and we're actually being able to create much more within Workday as well.
Yeah.
And that as that partner community opens up and expands, I think the value as Workday and what we can bring to our customer expands as well. And so we're able to actually see that and deliver that value for the customer.
Ernest, were you a customer of HiredScore before you joined the team? I can't remember.
I was not a customer of HiredScore.
Okay.
Jason and I tried to
Tried very hard.
It's like
very
moving
hard
mountains.
for a long time. It was
Yeah.
like a 7-year journey of trying to get HiredScore into Salesforce, but eventually we'll do it.
Yeah, I couldn't remember. But the reason I ask is like, as you guys at HiredScore have had a long history of being willing and able to work with any partner in the space, even partners that might be a little bit competitive in nature, right? And so I can only imagine how, frustrating it would be to be like, look, we could do so many incredible things with you if you would only partner with us in like more than just like a standard partnership, which I think is really exciting about the program Workday is building, is like those people that are consistently driving results for their shared customers, those that are consistently showing integrity and cultural alignment. That's what's driving like that partnership, like getting them closer and closer, because we have that. It's built on trust, right? So it's really cool. Well, let's talk about what HiredScore actually does instead of just like gushing over like, we are really happy here. I'm glad to hear it. But yeah, for those that don't know, what is HiredScore? What do you guys do?
Yeah, so we've talked about it as AI talent orchestration, and that journey has been very interesting because you have this inflection point, I think a few years ago, with talent intelligence coming to market. And obviously that can mean a lot of different things to people.
It's a very ambiguous term. Yeah,
it can mean a lot of things. But I think if you ask the average person, they'd say, oh yeah, we know what talent intelligence, and credit to Athena, who obviously isn't with us today, but she really, when we made a decision.
She's just not here. She is still alive.
Oh, yeah, she's alive.
Oh my God.
I just meant not physically
with us.
here. But when we looked at the market, there was this like opportunity to become another platform, and there were so many people going that direction. And I think we said, and again, credit to the team, the world doesn't need another platform, doesn't need another system. Orchestration is the opportunity to make the systems, the tools that people have, more successful. How do you make the people who use them smarter, faster, quicker? How do you make the data inside? And that's actually one of the great things about Workday, is because it's a platform, because of their data strategy, it's actually a great home for us because we can build on top of the hard work they've done. And that is differentiated, in my opinion, so far from what I've seen. And
as a product strategy, for sure. I think a lot of people were leaning into platform, I'm doing air quotes over here, to try and grow TAM, to try and grow market cachet. They thought if we call ourselves an AI-powered enterprise level platform, it became meaningless. But I do remember when Athena told me like, hey, we are actually investing heavily. We're building out a market leading integration layer. Yep. We want to be able to integrate with any application, with any vendor, because that's what our customers need. Yep. And no one else was willing to do that. Like that's platform, baby. Yep. You know what I mean? Like that's what we really are talking about.
For sure. And so going back to what does that do then, right? Like I'm telling you what the name of it was, but what it meant for our customers is that we're actually able to deliver these things. We talk about iconic outcomes, but okay, you've got Workday, you put HiredScore on top of it. Maybe you have other vendors. Maybe you're betting heavy on Workday. It didn't matter to us because again, our goal was to take.
Because you also had customers at Oracle, you have customers at SuccessFactors, you have customers,
and we'll continue to do that, which
absolutely.
is exciting. But what was interesting is it was about taking whatever your bets were and putting the AI on top of it, the orchestration layer, and then driving the outcomes. And so for us, we called that iconic outcomes, Kyle. We were focused on, how do you augment the recruiter? How do you change how a hiring manager works? It's one of these personas that we call it a non-HR persona, but they have to do a lot of HR work. And your processes run through your managers. And if you want to deliver great outcomes to your org and you have thousands of managers who are interacting and you miss that persona, that's a big miss.
Yeah.
And so those are the types of things we were bringing on top of these solutions. Employees, meeting people in the flow of work was a big bet for us in the last couple of years. And so orchestration was about take the data, take the observable processes, take the policies, take the personas, run AI on top of it, and then focus on driving the actual outcomes. And they have been, huge wins for our customers. So that's really what we've been up to, and it's been great. Anything you'd add to that, Ernest?
Perfect.
Well, I mean, I actually do want to dig into this because what you said at the end, you're having a really great time with your customers. I haven't seen vendors that do as much co-innovation with their customers as you do. Your customers are like, oh, can we orchestrate this? Can we orchestrate that? Da, 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 da. I mean, I think we looked at the product roadmap at Forward last year, and there's a whole bunch of new stuff. And I just love that you all were able to say, oh, and by the way, we're already doing it with this customer who's right over there. If you have any questions for him, how it's going, like we're here. Not everybody, a lot of providers in the space like to talk about innovating for their customers, but they're really not getting down on the ground and rolling up their sleeves. They're not invited to that level of collaboration. You guys have built a lot of trust with your customers.
Yeah, I think it really shows with that co-innovation where you're actually digging into their processes, understanding their pain points, really trying to figure out what their outcomes are that they're trying to achieve, and with that, designing the process in collaboration with them. And it's not just leading to better product, but it's also, like you said, leading to better relationships and trust that we can build with the customer as well. So,
can I ask? I thought you guys were a matching and scoring AI. I thought that's all HiredScore was. When they announced the acquisition, there was just a lot of like, meh. I think from some detractors in the space, some real cynics that they were like, nah, this isn't that big of a deal. The story that you all just talked about for AI orchestration, a lot of people I don't think realize that this was part of the current delivering vision. It's not just future. So you guys are actually doing these things. How has joining the Workday organization helped to accelerate that vision, to get more awareness, like to make that more than just like ideas we have? Like you were already delivering, but I imagine now the scale of opportunity in front of you is massive, right? You have a lot more people raising their hands. Yeah. Can we talk a little bit about, because that journey did happen actually very quickly. Right? I mean, you were still selling hot matching and scoring, like in matching and scoring, you were still selling fetch, right?
Yeah.
And those were great features that had a lot of like material value for your customers. But the story evolved really quickly, right? I'm thinking like 2021, 2022.
Yeah, for sure. And what's interesting about, and actually connects to like the prior question too about like how do we partner? What's interesting is, well, two things I'll say. A, surprisingly, recruiter efficiency is still a problem.
What?
So even the things that we built and took to market 10 years ago are still really relevant. Yeah. And I don't think it's like we're just catching up with the late bloomers now. It's really still an issue, and companies' hiring needs change and their volumes change and their profitability
and
problems.
The market and world that we live in has completely changed. Yeah.
Yeah, and the systems change, and the data changes, and the priorities change. So what's interesting is the core thing that we started out with is still really relevant, and it's exciting to see Workday bringing that to market and how people are responding even to the things we've been doing forever.
Yeah.
And the scale that we can do that at. That's been amazing. But to your point, I think a lot of people didn't know what the other things we were doing because the name sort of begets, hey, we're doing recruiting.
No one was even talking about orchestration 2 years ago.
Correct. So now what's interesting, and this goes back to the collaboration piece, is when you do a great job and you earn their trust and you make their recruiters more efficient, then they go, hey, could you help me with this problem? And that's where Fetch came. Fetch was became, hey, we are scoring your candidates. Can you also help us find candidates? So that's easy. We turn the AI at your rediscovery engine, right? Yeah. Then you did that with our external candidates. Can you do that with our employees? Then all of a sudden you're solving internal mobility problems. And hey, you're helping our recruiters be way more efficient. Can you help our managers change their work? And so we move from recruiter effectiveness.
You're working with our full-time workforce. Could you help us with our contingent workforce?
Labor, exactly. And so you're seeing it. And so now today we have an entire, what's exciting is we had an entire suite of solutions prior to the acquisition. And what's been really fun for me at Workday is we're not just, in my view, we're not just like a bolt-on piece that adds to the end of their SKU list, but rather Workday is looking at HiredScore as something they can integrate throughout their products. So think about Workday recruiting, think about candidate engagement, messaging, think about talent optimization, think about Vinly and the contingent side, to your point, think about workforce planning.
Workforce planning, baby. Yeah.
And we're not even talking about the Fin side yet, who knows? But on the HR side.
Oh, don't go over there. It's boring. Yeah.
But on the HR side, there's so many endless possibilities, and that's what's really exciting for us. But to your point, it's about building on those use cases and all the things that we've been able to do. And those are the outcomes that our customers know and love us for, and probably doesn't get enough coverage, actually.
Well, Ernest, I know that you and Athena have been like really deep thought partners and really collaborating a lot on like, what is this new vision? I mean, before this acquisition, how do you find that your work is evolving? I mean, are you feeling like a proud papa that all these concepts and talk tracks that you've been working on are like taking flight across all of Workday? Or are you feeling like, oh, now I've got a whole lot more evangelizing that I have to do internally? Like, yeah, how's your role evolved?
I mean, personally, I feel like a kid in a candy store. I mean, the opportunities are endless, just in terms of with the power of the platform, with the customer base that we have, with all the ideas coming in, like we can really have an opportunity to transform how business is done and how HR is done. Right?
Yeah. I mean, in a real material way.
In a real material way, not just making things a little bit faster, a little bit easier to do, but really transforming it with AI. I think that is the opportunity in front of us. And with all of these AI technologies that are out there that are developing really quickly, now the possibilities become wide open, right? And so I think we're getting so much interest in AI, and I think for us, we really need to focus on what are those core use cases that can really impact and drive value into the organization and for the end users, and that's really what we want to focus on.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear it. I mean, focus is going to be really important, but I really like this concept you guys keep throwing out of iconic outcomes. That is the North Star. Let's drive impact. So one of the questions I'm having for everybody, this theme for this show is like, what are we building on Workday?
Yeah.
And I want to know, like, what are some exclusive capabilities that maybe the Workday customer base has access to with HiredScore?
Yeah, so first of all, obviously we have our certified integration on top of Workday. It's world-class. And the Workday is allowing us to continue to leverage those other third-party integrations. So none of that's going away. I just want to make sure everybody knows that.
Yeah.
But for Workday specifically, I think what the future holds are a couple things. One, customers already know and love HiredScore, excited about HiredScore, can look forward to a lot of the elements starting to show up inside of Workday natively.
Yeah, because currently you guys, because I was a customer of HiredScore in the past, I remember that in recruiting, in the Workday recruiting, I could see the match score for applicants in the rec.
Yep.
But that was an iframe, right? That was...
So what, yeah, good question. So for all of our customers, all of our systems, we always put the grade inside the ATS natively. And that's partly...
But I couldn't get the explainable AI from it, right? I could just see that,
and so that
score.
That grade was typically not only for user experience, but also for... we're big on responsible AI, that. So it's for auditability, record keeping, any kind of reporting the customer needed to do. But yeah, we always had our UI on top of it, which is always bi-directional, and we'll continue to maintain that. But we're starting to move some of those elements actually into Workday. So coming in this spring, for instance, customers will have access to candidate rediscovery. We call that Fetch inside of Workday.
Cool.
So that's, again, Safe Harbor. That's coming, I think, R1. For Workday.
Did you just say Safe Harbor?
Yeah, I said Safe Harbor. It's a new term.
This is the press, baby. Yeah. No, that's exciting. I mean, you guys are delivering right away.
Yeah, right away. And so, Fetch was such a easy choice to focus on right away, because at
Just
the
so
moment
much
you create a
utility on
rec,
it.
which you're already doing in Workday, the very next thing you do is you have a lead list, and it's right there inside of Workday, and it's all the people that are already inside of your Workday. It could be your Workday recruiting, it could be candidate engagement, your prospects, your pools. So we're connecting to those parts as well, and rediscovering across all those object types to bring those people. We can also connect to the HM side on internals. So again, there's some really exciting things that'll be available to customers. And then we are starting to connect to other talent acquisition objects. So we talked about pools, prospects will be available. We'll have some bi-directional things there.
Yeah.
Some of the native messaging that already exists inside of Workday that we didn't leverage before, that'll be available to customers.
Yeah.
If they want to SMS outreach to a prospect, a Fetch lead, they can do that now through Workday, which is really exciting. We're going to have, on the talent mobility side.
Are you guys doing any orchestration there? Like, because I do remember looking at it, one of the use cases you had was we've already reached out to these candidates, that or you could click and say, yes, reach out to these one, like the rec is open, let's go ahead and get this started. Are you guys doing that in Workday too, or is that just a HiredScore feature?
You mean in terms of following up with a candidate?
Yeah, you mentioned like SMS. Like I'm thinking, like, can I go ahead and kick off an engagement campaign right at the point of rec?
Yeah. So what's exciting is with candidate engagement now, which is the solution Workday has for non-applicant candidates.
That's a really nice way of saying CRM light.
CRM. Actually, surprisingly, and I want to say this because I wasn't here to say this, but I'm actually really impressed with it. I think my expectation coming in was, hey, maybe it is that. And by the way, I think customers are going to be pleasantly surprised that it actually has a lot of functionality. I've had a few customers move over into it. I know. I'm telling you.
I mean, for those that don't know, I come from CRM. I worked at Emory for 2 years actually, and partnered with the HiredScore team. Yeah. And I think that is where I see immediate value of bringing in a solution like HiredScore. It's going to accelerate the utilization of these other capabilities that they have because of the intelligent automation that you are able to use.
Totally.
It's going to be really interesting next CRM cycle.
And by the way, so just on the thing about the CRM side, we're going to do the same things on the mobility side. So one of the other things coming up soon is HiredScore will be offering our AI for talent mobility solutions. So that connects to people, so the internal employees. So we'll be able to rediscover those. We'll be able to outreach to employees, contact their managers, and let them know that their employees might be eligible for opportunities. And we're going to actually connect that to Workday's talent optimization. Yeah. So things like Career Hub will actually have bi-directional connection with HiredScore, and we'll actually, I think in the near future, even be offering HiredScore-based recommendations natively inside of the Workday Career Hub.
See, babe, this is why I said that this was the biggest deal since Oracle bought Taleo, because I really do see the utilization of talent and workforce applications in Workday being rapidly accelerated with a solution, like a deeply embedded solution like HiredScore. It's really exciting for you guys. I'm sure the Workday teams, our product teams are really excited. But I bet you their customers, those HR and talent leaders that are working tirelessly to try and improve talent retention, try and improve internal mobility rates, they're like, oh, thank God, I don't have to do all of this heavy lifting, right? I mean, it's really solving for.
And by the way, sneak peek.
Yeah. Is this under embargo? Because we're literally on a podcast.
Safe harbor.
Yeah. I don't know what that means.
No, we're even connecting. We're already starting work on connecting to Venly. So you talked about the contingent side.
Yeah.
How long have people been talking about total talent? But that's the power of a platform like Workday, where you actually have a recruiting system, you have contingent talent. We're going to actually be able to look at employee, a contingent worker, and external talent, and start to say, who's the right talent for this role, irregardless of the talent type, and how do we connect that across the different data sets?
Oh, imagine getting even further than that, where it's like, oh, we opened a rec, this is a high priority role or skill set. I'm going to immediately put out somebody for contingent so we can close this gap right away. In the meantime, we have these candidates we can start moving with. That's total
it's not
talent.
Science fiction
Oh,
anymore.
no, and that's not, that's a use case you could actually deliver, right?
It's actually not very far off.
I know.
You just think about the power of adaptive planning. You can build these plans. You can actually
and then activate it.
Exactly. You can actually activate these workforce plans and put them into the system, let the agent run, let the agent really work through that and actually deliver the outcomes that you're looking for.
Super cool. You guys are making it really hard for me to be industry agnostic, but whatever. Everybody knows I have a big crush on you. All right, cool. Well, before we wrap, anything that you guys want to make sure that we leave with?
No, I think hopefully, as people are listening, they're hearing the excitement we have, what it means to be, I think Workday is differentiated, and I think we feel like it's a great home for us to be able to add value to people and have a second look at what's actually happening. And by the way, I know you're going to talk with Workday more, but that discounts, by the way, all the work they're doing on their partnership ecosystem, their extensibility, their ability to build on Extend. I've been blown away by that. I mean, as a third party coming in, what customers are doing on Extend is so cool to see. And the solutions they're building. So it's exciting times. We're really optimistic about the potential.
I am too. I mean, look, I track innovation for my job, but I also am a little bit different as an analyst because I feel like the ethos of companies is part of leadership too. That's part of not just what are you building, but who are you? And all of the partners that we've talked to this week, there really is just this deep sense of connection. We're coming together to solve problems together. There is co-opetition in the space, and that's everyone's acknowledged it. They're really comfortable with this. They're and I don't know, I just feel like that is super unique. I want to see more of this, which is why I'm kind of leaning into this conversation this week. People are like, oh, you love Workday. I'm like, no, I want to put a spotlight on what's happening here because any one of these other major vendors can be doing this same thing and should. The customer matters more than anything else. They have been through the ringer the last several years. Let's put their needs before anything else. And guess what? You're going to make a ton of money if you can do that, It's not just like, oh, we're going to be totally idealistic. It's like, no, this I do really think is the ethos of partnership as a customer to solution provider that we need to see more of. I'm really excited about it.
I'm glad.
Thank you guys for coming on the show.
Always a pleasure to be with you.
Yeah. We'll see you more around this week.
Sounds great.
Sounds good. Thank you.
And that's a wrap. A huge thank you to Jason and Ernest for joining me and giving us an inside look at how AI talent orchestration is rewriting the rules of HR and talent management. Here's what I'm taking away. It's not enough to automate or optimize. The future is about delivering outcomes that matter, whether it's helping recruiters do more with less, empowering managers with better data, or enabling organizations to make smarter workforce decisions. And thanks to HiredScore's deep integration with Workday, customers are gaining access to a whole new level of capability and insight. Big thanks to Workday for making this episode possible, and to you, my fearless listeners, for tuning in. I'll be back soon with more bold conversations and stories about the people, platforms, and ideas driving transformation in the world of work. Until next time, stay curious, stay focused, and keep pushing for those iconic outcomes. Catch you on the next episode of Transformation Realness.